What's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to be going over some of the best plays in the stock market right now and the most important things to know about. Looking at today's movement, we saw a couple stocks that had some awesome moves, so make sure to stick with us today because we are starting to see the market heat back up again. And at the end of today's video, we have a $1.5 million trade that you won't want to miss. But Tom, fill us in on what happened in the market today.
Yeah, we saw a lot of stocks run up, like you mentioned, Mike. We saw a lot of growth stocks actually moving up, like Coinbase. They had some news this morning of job cuts, and man, that really helped their stock move up to 42.95 or 43. Ended up over 12%, Mike. What a move by them. I noticed SoFi had a very good day. Lucid Motors was running. NEO was actually up as well. And all across the board, Mike, we saw a lot of good movement. Even airlines and some of the big tech stocks like Netflix were moving, which ended up pushing the SPY back to the upside. I will say, though, Tesla ended up still being down in the red just ever so slightly. We did see Apple and Microsoft end up green barely, but really, it was just a very choppy day for those bigger stocks. But man, some of these growth stocks and a few of the bigger stocks like Amazon had very explosive days today. And what I like is that a lot of these stocks are consolidating up here at good resistances. Like Amazon is sitting right around 90. So there's just a lot of opportunities to watch for tomorrow for some good breakouts.
You know it. So just like I said a couple minutes ago, we're seeing a handful of stocks just have some really awesome moves. Amazon had some awesome price action intraday. And I'll tell you what, one stock, Coinbase, has been on fire over the past couple days. It has just been blasting up nonstop, and it has a ton of momentum. So throughout tomorrow and even throughout the rest of the week, keep these like stocks on your radar. If we look at Coinbase, if we look at Amazon, even like stocks like WBD, they're moving up in big ways. And like with Coinbase, they had news how they were doing some job cuts. So just keep them on your watch list because we have been seeing some really good price action over the past week.
Yeah, we have. It's actually getting pretty explosive. When you go to those daily charts on these stocks too, you can start to see like Amazon was very low. It was actually very oversold there. So I'm really happy to see us bouncing off these supports and getting some very nice moves back up. Even some of these growth stocks like NEO, for example, they had been really down lately, almost down to lows of the year. And it's just really nice to see a bit of a recovery coming in, especially ahead of all these big events coming up later in the week. Like on Thursday, we have the CPI data 1 hour before the market opens. They're expecting inflation to jump back down a little bit, which is good. So hopefully we continue to see inflation move back down on Thursday, Mike. But it's just good to see this price action ahead of that event. Maybe we'll continue to see a nice breakout, but as we know, these events can end up always like earnings. It's like a coin flip, Mike. And I know Powell actually spoke today, and he actually didn't say anything too crazy. He just kind of reiterated that the Fed needs to continue to go after price stabilization, obviously. And he did say that they would have to do some unpopular decisions, obviously, in the shorter term, because with inflation so high, they have to keep raising interest rates to lower it. And a lot of people are saying, well, hey, isn't inflation already down enough? It's been going down. It was at 9.1. Now it's at 7.1%. Isn't that enough? No, it is not. 7.1% inflation is still way too high.
Exactly. And anytime you hear Jerome Powell or anyone else say stabilizing prices, they're talking about inflation. It's just a different way to say it. So keep that in mind as well. But I do think Thursday will hands down be the most important day of the week. Just like Tom said a minute ago, Thursday, 1 hour before market open is when we get the newest reading for inflation data. Right now, they're expecting it to come in right around 6.6%, which, like Tom just said, is still way too high. So we still need inflation to get lower and lower and lower as the months go on. But looking at how this pertains to the market overall, Tom, what are like the key levels on SPY that we should be watching?
Yeah, so kind of like we talked about yesterday, Mike, there was some pretty big levels right around 390. And I will say 390 ended up being a huge level once again today. And we actually ran up to 390. We got a few bounces off of there intraday today. It was actually pretty good to see that. But then right around close, we actually broke and pushed up through 390. So heading into tomorrow morning, I'm going to really watch this 390 support I'm going to hope that overnight we hold this, and then at open tomorrow, we might continue to get a nice breakout, maybe push up to around 390, 150, or maybe if we get lucky, even up to around 393, if the price action is good enough. Like we talked about, Mike, there's a lot of these key stocks like Amazon and others at key resistances, and if they start breaking, that should push the S&P 500 up even more. Now, if the SPY starts to fall down and we break under 390, I do see another big support down here right around 389. There was a lot of price action today right around there, and then below there I see 387.50.
Sounds good. So keep those levels on your watch list going throughout the rest of the week. The SPY has been all over the place over the past week, but I will say for the most part, we have been seeing like good trends intraday. Today was probably slower than most days, but still, like there was some decent movement as the day progressed. So keep that in mind. But Tom, I want to talk about some stocks for tomorrow that I am watching. The first one is DraftKings. So DraftKings actually has some really good short-term bullish momentum right now. And what I like about this play is if we go on a daily chart, we can see that DraftKings is still very close to a major support level, right around $11 a share, right around that area, we can say. So it's very close to lows, but at the same time, it is not up like a giant amount yet. If we look at a company like Coinbase, you know, it's really starting to move to the point where it's like, you know, like it's not as good of a play as it was a couple days ago because it's been having these monster candles day after day. So I like DraftKings because, you know, it has that bullish momentum. It's still close to support and it has enough momentum where it's like, I like it, but it's not up enough where it's like, all right, this play is overextended. So it's definitely on my watch list to the upside over the next couple days.
Yeah, and I feel like the DraftKings had a bit of like a gap to the downside. It wasn't really a gap because the market was open, but it had that really big drop back on like December 14th and 15th, where we just saw the market tank down and DraftKings had that big drop down as well. And it's really nice to see us kind of getting back up into that range here. And I feel like that, you know, DraftKings on that daily chart, Mike, has been retesting this trend line here time and time again. Like we just continue to see bounces off of this trend. And it looks like right now we're extending up. And I feel like maybe tomorrow we could maybe extend up to around that trend again. So maybe we could hit 13 and then maybe get up to maybe like 1340. I really like it. I think that's a pretty nice play for the next couple days. Another stock that I'm going to talk about, Mike, is actually going to be probably, I don't know if it would be the majority of our viewers' favorite. Let me know in the comments if you guys are still fans of this stock or not, but it is Tesla. And I noticed Tesla is actually very oversold in the short term. And, you know, Tesla's been taking a big beating lately. They have recent highs around like 190, and then we actually touched all the way around 100 here. I mean, that's almost like a 50% drop in just like a few weeks. So Tesla's a very oversold stock right now. I will be watching it in the short term for a potential bounce up to around maybe 120. I'm watching this. There's a big intraday support at 117. There's a lot of bounces right there. I circled a few here for you guys to see, but I really hope we can hold that support and move back up, Mike. If not, then maybe if we break under 117, you could even play to the downside. I feel like Tesla is really good right now just because there's just a lot of price action either way.
Yep, so we will see. We all know Tesla is one of those crazy stocks where at least a lot in the short term, it's been, you know, definitely making some giant moves to the downside. But in the past, it has also had a lot of upside moves too. So either way, it's normally a good stock for short-term trading. So keep it on your watch list. Another one that I'm watching is Spotify. This one is also to the upside. I feel like it has a decent chance of retesting that resistance right around 95 and 100 pretty soon. It has good short-term momentum to the upside, and it's just been waiting to bounce off support for a while now, right around that $70 level, and I feel like we're finally seeing a good move. So it's definitely on my watch list, and it's a play that has potential.
Yeah, I thought that move today was actually awesome. We broke out above that big resistance around like 86 to 87 and pushed all the way up to 90. So that's great. And I love how it has this big wick from back in October where it extended all the way up to 100. I think maybe watching for a run back up to around 100 would be a pretty cool play here for Spotify. So I'm going to keep it on the watch list too, Mike. It was definitely one of the most explosive plays from today. But another one is going to be AMD. And Mike, it looks like we're playing all stocks to the upside for tomorrow. But I will say AMD has a big intraday support at 67. If it keeps holding 67, I'll watch it for another breakout tomorrow. Maybe if we could break 69, we could get a nice push up to 70 or higher. But if we do break under this like 66 to 66.80 support, I think AMD could end up selling off more. But I am kind of leaning up, especially because if we see the overall tech sector go up, AMD will probably follow along.
Yeah, and another thing I want to comment on really quickly is like, let's say, the market tanks down tomorrow right in pre-market. And let's say as the market opens, we're seeing a bunch of bearish selling pressure and a bunch of stocks are breaking lows and, some bad news came out and there's just a bunch of bearish sentiment. Just because we are looking at these upside plays, like you still have to be able to adapt. So for example, like, if Tom had levels for Tesla for the upside and the downside, like, or even if you just had levels for the upside, you don't just have to play breakout calls. Like you can also use that level as a resistance level. So it's like, it's very, very, very important to be able to adapt to changing market conditions. The market can change literally in seconds if big enough news comes out. So it's like you have to keep that in mind. So it's like when we're giving these levels, keep in mind like there are multiple ways to play them. Like if we're looking at a call breakout play and the market's tanking down tomorrow morning, you can also use that same level for like a resistance level to buy puts at, if you wanted to.
Yeah, you definitely can. And I actually see that happen like a lot because like look at AMD right here. There's a big resistance at right around 68 to 68.20. So if we see that big breakout in the morning, then fantastic, play it to the upside. But like you said, Mike, sometimes we see those big rejections and pushes back down, just like we saw earlier this morning. There's a lot of opportunities in the market throughout the day, guys, and don't be afraid to, try to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, and I don't mean that in a bad way. If you're doing fantastic, then awesome, keep doing what you're doing. But if something's not working, try to maybe adapt a little bit, like Mike said.
All right. Well, with that being said, Tom, let's get right into the momentum plays. With the first one, we have GNRC to the upside.
GNRC, what a big move up today. Go ahead and make them break out above 109.75 for tomorrow. I will say this stock is very explosive in the shorter term.
All right. With the next one, we have a good old coin also to the upside.
Coinbase. Now that was an amazing play today, Mike. They actually broke a big resistance right around close at 42.50. If we can break 43.50 tomorrow, I think looking at calls would be awesome again.
All right. And then with the next one, we have Fiverr or FVRR also to the upside.
Yeah, Fiverr. I haven't talked about this stock in a while, Mike. Look at that daily chart. It is extremely, extremely low, but go ahead and make them break out above $31.
All right, so we are watching Fiverr, Coinbase, and Generac for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. So definitely keep them on your watch list. But it is now time for the $1.5 million smart money play of the day. We had $1.5 million go into the DHR 260 strike call options that expire on January 19th of 2024. If you don't understand how options work, that's fine. I'm going to break it down in a nice and easy way. Basically, we have a big money player betting $1.5 million that DHR will rise a lot in the future. The higher DHR goes, the more millions they will make. This is a bullish play. I don't think it's a bad play at all, Tom. DHR had a pretty solid day today, and it is kind of bouncing off support right around there's actually a lot of support levels on this one, but one support level is around 260. There's another support around 255. Another one around 250. So it has a lot of support right now. But it is more of a longer term play. So I don't necessarily expect this company to be up 10% tomorrow. It'll take some time.
Yeah, and what I like about this company, Mike, is it looks like whenever it starts to go on a trend, sometimes we start to see some very explosive candles. Like, look at some of these uptrends. Like, this stock would bounce off the 235 support and run all the way up to 280, and then have big drops back down to 257, and then run all the way back up to 280 a couple times again. This stock has some crazy candles, and I feel like taking advantage of this with some options could be a pretty good way to go. But like you said, Mike, it is a longer term play. So in the shorter term, it might not, matter too much for this one, but hopefully we continue to see this thing bounce up. And this recent support around 260, like you said, 255, 260 looks pretty good.
Sounds good. All right, so Tom, for tomorrow, what are your final thoughts? Do you have any other last minute stocks or anything you're eyeing up?
Yeah, I had to mention one more stock. I keep seeing news about Bed Bath and Beyond, and I will say they've had a lot of news lately regarding bankruptcy possibilities and stuff like that. And it looks like they've been all over the place the past few days, Mike. They were actually up 27.78% today as they recovered up on some earnings this morning. And I'm not going to say the earnings went well, Mike. It was actually pretty rough. I saw a lot of negative articles saying that they're continuing to lose cash flow and stuff like that. But I did want to mention it because it's just a bit of an outlier. It was up 27%. And you never know, Mike, if Wall Street Bets gets a hold of this thing, who knows what type of volatility could come in. But I feel like it's making some pretty decent opportunities for intraday trades. But I honestly, Mike, it's one of those plays where I'd rather just play like the breakout on AMD or even Tesla at this point over something like Bed Bath & Beyond. But I figured I'd mention it because it has a lot of volatility.
Yeah, and like I saw GameStop creeping up a little bit towards the end of day today. It had a really good run at the end, so keep that in mind too.
What's up with GameStop? I didn't even notice that one, Mike. Yeah, we'll have to keep some of these, I guess you call them meme stocks on the radar here.
Yeah, and you guys know how the meme stocks are. They are complete gambles, so if you even do decide to trade them, be careful, of course, because they're crazy. They're some of the craziest stocks in the market, but they are showing some decent price action intraday. One thing I want to reiterate one more time is we have earnings season starting back up again. We have big banks reporting on Friday, and make sure to join the Stocked Up Discord chat. We just added a brand new earnings channel that goes over all of the earnings information you could possibly even need and want. So definitely make sure to join it. It's that first link in the description and the comments down below, and it's completely free. We have a bunch of great people and tools and information in here, so make sure to join up. We have a bunch of great things that are awesome, especially for short-term trading. But Tom, before we close out, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day. And that is Bill W. in the Stocked Up Discord and the YouTube channel. So huge shout out to Bill W. You've been in the Discord for around 6 months now, and your activity has definitely been increasing. So thank you so much for that. And guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We post all the time, and when you subscribe, you will see our videos more often. Besides that, let's have an amazing rest of the week.